Welcome back, hyenas. Today we're talking about Lunchly, the influencer Lunchable competitor that apparently now features blue cheese, as well as the fact that Donald Trump, for whatever reason, was seen working at a McDonald's and then, I'm sure completely unrelated, was subsequently discovered to have an E. coli outbreak. But not just that, we have a special guest today, somebody who is an expert and has eaten at both the Donald Trump McDonald's and the new Lunchly product. Everybody say hello to my friend Charlie. Charlie! What happened?
That's a lot of nuts!
You know, I think I figured out why it is that you guys aren't buying Gamer Supps using my link in the description for 10% off your entire order. It's because it's too fresh. I mean, look at this thing. There's literally no mold in here, and I looked through every tub they sent me, as well as their gamer soups. If you want to sell anything nowadays, it has to have mold in it. That's what gives Gen Z its very special brain damage, apparently. First up, we're talking about Lunchly and the fact that the cheese in the pizza Lunchly seems to be molding across numerous reports. Now, this is actually something that came to fruition at least a couple weeks ago. The first instance I saw of blue cheese being in a pizza Lunchly was actually posted on Reddit on October 10th, which was almost 2 weeks ago at this point. But the reason that more people are talking and reporting about it now is, of course, thanks to our very own Rosanna Pansino, who has seemed to have made it her life mission to take down Mr. Beast and its entire operation, and I could not be rooting for anybody harder. Rosanna Pansino has been the person who has been echoing and amplifying all the reports of smaller people who have been purchasing Lunchly and have been discovering its subpar food quality. But not only that, she did her own video looking over Lunchly and buying her own version to compare it to Lunchables. Being a baking and food channel, it was right up her alley, and her own box of Lunchly pizza came out with molded cheese. You could not write a better piece of drama.
Looks-wise, here are the two pizzas from Lunchables and Lunchly. Lunchly is covered in mold. I'm gonna ask you guys, which one would you rather eat? Which one would you give your kid?
Which one would you give your kid? I can't. Listen, we're all fans of nerdy nummies. Everybody knows Rosanna Pansino can bake, but bro, who let her cook? Rosanna Pansino would continue to echo and amplify tweets that she sees of other people with moldy products received from Lunchly, and her video unboxing it would go on to get almost 1 million views over the last 3 days. So popular, in fact, that it was picked up by Newsweek, who wrote an article about it, with one section claiming that a person who is familiar with the product said to consider the context and the source. Now, a source familiar with the product might mean like a food expert or a marketer, and not necessarily somebody on Mr. Beast or Logan Paul's team who's worked on Lunchly specifically, but the phrase consider the context and the source means whoever this is claiming that this may not be a legitimate finding of mold simply because Rosanna is somebody who has already been outspoken about her detraction from Mr. Beast in general and might have a vested interest in falsifying the fact that she found mold in her Lunchly. This would go on with Logan Paul tweeting out something along the lines of, "I eat Lunchly for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I have yet to see any videos of anybody opening a box of Lunchly and finding mold," also seeming to insinuate that anybody who has mold in their Lunchly is just faking it for clout. This, of course, ignores the dozens of examples of people that aren't YouTubers and people who could garner clout from this also claiming to have gotten Lunchly with mold in it, people who work at stores claiming that a bunch of them have been returned for exactly this reason. Upon closer inspection, taking a look at all of these images, you can see a lack of glue in the top right corner, making it seem as though these Lunchly boxes aren't sealed properly from the factory, letting in air and causing the cheese to mold prematurely. And with all of these common denominators put into play, it's very clear that there is an issue here and it isn't something people are making up just for clout. Logan Paul would respond to his original tweet claiming that he hasn't seen anybody opening boxes and finding mold with, "Okay, I saw the videos you guys sent me of people opening boxes and finding mold. Thank you." Rosanna would also clap back to the claim that somebody on Mr. Beast's team might have said that she faked it for views or to consider the context with, "I don't fake my videos, that's more Mr. Beast thing," calling back to the original competition that she was in that Mr. Beast edited to make her look like she did worse than she did, which was the whole cause of this situation. Oh my god, we're coming full circle. When Marquez Brownlee, received a tremendous amount of negative feedback on his new app Panels, designed for you to download wallpapers. Did he go on Twitter and talk back and call people clout chasers for not appreciating the grand piece of product that he released into the world? No. He made a revision. He updated the app following a tremendous amount of feedback and made it indefinitely better. He released a full video on his main channel talking about all the changes and explaining it further and admitting fault and most importantly apologizing. What does Logan Paul do? Hop immediately onto Twitter and call everybody clout chasers, claiming that the issue at hand isn't even real. KSI somehow is the only one quiet during all of this, and Mr. Beast has a member of his team respond to Newsweek talking about the situation rather than saying anything himself, except, oh wait, he can't, because last week he blocked both Rosanna Pansino and Dogpack404 on Twitter. Real mature. It would be one thing for them to address the issue and then say that it was some sort of packaging malfunction, because that's actually what it seems like. The lack of glue that seals the cheese from being able to be eaten without being molded, with these things being several months from their expiration date, probably isn't a problem with Mr. Beast or Logan Paul or KSI specifically. It's the company they use to package the things. Could they say that? Put out a PR statement, say anything other than, listen, you guys just want us to fail, this is the best thing ever? They could do that, but the fact that they don't, and the fact that they instead go on Twitter tirades and claim that people are only doing this for attention, just goes to show what everybody already thought, that this entire endeavor was just something they were looking to make money from, and if the entire thing ends up burning in a giant fire because it isn't that good, they'll probably make their cash regardless. One would think with all the time that these guys have garnering a social media audience online, they would have a better understanding of public relations and how to handle small relative controversies such as this one and then improve based on that. Like Asmongold. Asmongold has been posting updates on his cleaning situation, showing his updated kitchen sink and even his room with everything significantly more organized. I mean, it's still dark and dreary, but these are definitely improvements to say the least. I don't think you guys can appreciate this if you don't know Asmongold's whole thing, but the dirtiness of his room has been like a personality trait, a topic for entire podcast discussions. The fact that he lives in filth is a part of his character. The fact that he's working to change himself from the remarks that he made just the other week by physically changing himself and his area around him is insane. Not only that, but people have been pointing to one reply that he made on Twitter, talking about a podcast referring to a game studio as Spear Chucker Studios. For the uninitiated, Spear Chuckers is a racial term used for black people that doesn't have any other use or cultural significance. While it's not one of the mainstream racial slurs, advanced racism enjoyers use it quite regularly. Comment was made in poor taste, obviously racist. Somebody asks how he knows this, and he replies, I've been on the internet for over 20 years. I know every single racial slur, dog whistle, or derogatory term that has ever been invented for a group of people. I make the comment because I know a lot of younger guys online genuinely don't know. It's for educational purposes only. Bro goes from claiming that they should kill as many Palestinians as possible just a week ago to cleaning his room and like removing the mold from Resident Evil from his brain is now educating people on how to be less racist on Twitter. That's how you make an improvement. What timeline are we in? You don't need to do the dishes if you order fast food every day. That's a life hack I learned back when I was 14. And nobody loves fast food more than Donald Trump. McDonald specifically, and his affinity for McDonald's is not something that he has shied away from in public releases. He had that very famous photo of him eating McDonald's on a plane. He did that buffet where he had McDonald's and Wendy's all through what I can only assume is the Oval Office for like a football team that just won a championship. People have made YouTube videos trying to recreate and eat Donald Trump's exact diet, and it mainly consists of Big Macs and Diet Cokes. The dude loves McDonald's. But just a couple days ago, during what I can only assume is a publicity stunt, something that I spent several minutes making sure wasn't AI generated, Donald Trump actually found himself working at a McDonald's. Bro handed deliveries out the drive-thru. He literally put the fries in the bag, bro. I love when presidential candidates during, an election year start doing everything in their power to try to relate to the younger generation, but only in ways that they get told to do through like PR companies and their team. They're like, you know what might work? What if you go on Twitch and you stream Among Us with some famous streamers? Bernie Sanders was just on a Twitch stream the other night with Pokimane dressing up like him in one of his memes. It's hilarious. I don't know who managed to convince Donald Trump that the best way for him to seem relatable to the voters would be to go to work at a McDonald's. But bro, if he loses this election, these images are going to haunt him forever, dude. That's all the funny stuff I could find for this video. If you've got your own pieces of news or memes that you'd like to see me cover, please let me know down in the comments. It's right below the subscribe button. A big thank you to the patrons for supporting the show, and I will catch you guys on tomorrow's episode. Peace.